What's up, guys and gals? We are officially live and in full effect out here on YouTube, and we are on MakeHuman. I don't know if y'all folks ever heard of MakeHuman, but it is really a dope software for 3D artists, 3D modelers, and enthusiasts, or people searching for ways to create 3D humans. So that's why I brought y'all folks here. I have a fix for some of the assets that the MakeHuman community offers up, and how it works basically is MakeHuman is a 3D software. It's an open source tool. It's really dope in terms of being able to help people to gain the accessibility of other assets besides what you can actually create yourself. So they have this assets link over here on their website. The official website is known as makehumancommunity.org. Eventually, I'm going to bring y'all folks to the Blender website as well, so you can see about the download if you never got Blender. But without using Blender in conjunction with MakeHuman, pretty much MakeHuman is not really that purposeful unless you use another 3D software that you can utilize to render higher and higher quality 3D assets to make the 3D assets look more like a really nice render, a really nice product, if you're trying to get a product from it in terms of a graphic, maybe a 2D graphic from the 3D items that you chose to maybe gather from the assets area that you can get from here, or from the upgraded version of MakeHuman, which is one of the most recent releases, known as the MakeHuman 1.2.0 Alpha 3, which is this here, which says MakeHuman Community Alpha 3. So this is pretty much how they present it on the website. Hopefully they can change up a little bit of this stuff, make it more visual, so people can understand to some degree what these differing things are. But it's pretty much straightforward to those who are, more like veterans to the website and veterans to using MakeHuman. They understand that these are actually links that will lead you to more like a wiki page where you can get the download, or it's almost like a blog, the information in terms of on the website. So you go, you click the link, you check it out, you look at what the details is. It looks like a blog, but then when you click the secondary link, it leads you to the download. So then you get to this wiki page and you go for the download. You can read every detail if you wanted to catch up on to what the latest updates are and what's the information that's afforded there. But pretty much you would go down towards like the bottom of the page. It says where to download. You click the link and then you go for the download here. So I just wanted to do a little review on that for those who are brand new to what MakeHuman is all about, what MakeHuman is. Pretty much you're going to create 3D humans with MakeHuman. So if you have no 3D knowledge, no skills, or any of that respect in terms of 3D, how to create 3D assets and stuff like that, MakeHuman is most definitely an option. And it's going to be more like an auto character generator software for you. Now there's a lot of advanced stuff that's involved in it and a lot of simple stuff. It's a little combination between advanced and simple. So some of the advanced stuff is more like when you bring it to Blender, what type of options are you going to choose to set your characters at, how you're going to import it. There's differing things that you may not be familiar with. So if you're brand new to MakeHuman and also to Blender, that kind of transition is where I come in, and I'm trying to help people to understand how to merge their thought process, what they know of already, and bridge the gaps to what they don't know and what they do know, and how they can actually make that transition so that it becomes more of a smoother transition if you're choosing to get this software and you're choosing to download it on your computer. So what type of computer are you going to be using this type of software on? It would be Windows, Mac, and I believe I'm not 100% sure, but I think Linux. So don't quote me 100% on that, but I know for Mac and for Windows, MakeHuman should work. And also for Blender, if you go into Blender and you go check out the download area and you also try to find out more information, you should be able to detect what type of computer is compatible with this software. And for Blender, it's generally those three. It's Windows PCs, Mac computers, and Linux. So before I go way too far, I just wanted y'all folks to know that this video is not for kids. It's not generated for kids, populated for kids, or being created. This live stream is not being created for kids. I just wanted y'all folks to know that. I actually documented that by selecting a check mark in YouTube's newer informational, I guess, the documentation areas where you can pretty much indicate what is what in your live streams. I just wanted to point that out because that's one of the latest things and updates of YouTube. You have to indicate whether the videos is for kids or not, and or how you want to basically label that video so that you can meet the FCC requirements and stuff like that. Because in the future, I believe that people are going to get huge fines if they do not, make that distinction in their videos and also follow through with creating content that is either for kids if they chose to add it for, chose to market for kids, or if they chose to create that content for just strictly adults and then don't market for kids, stuff like that. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. That doesn't clear me 100% from it, but I know that animation tends to be more like stereotyped or singled out as it just being for kids, but animation is also for adults. So that's why I wanted to mention that for those who are watching my live streams. So pretty much, let's move on past this point. If you already got the download of the MakeHuman community 1.2.0 Alpha 3, then you can move on to this next section that I'm going to be talking about. So if you did not get it, hopefully this little intro to it can help you to get it. So that's how you get it. You go to download from 12, and then right here it says you can download the Windows build. You click it if you got Windows computer, and then there goes a save file option that pops up. So that's this link here where it says where to download. You can download the Windows build here. Once you get it on your computer, pretty much you're going to have an icon, one of these two, but basically you're going to have the one that has the circular icon on your PC. So actually both of them have a circular icon, but one has a little outline of a circle, a white outline. So that actual icon is the version that I'm currently going to be loading up. So the other icon is it doesn't have that outline. That's the previous version to this version. So I believe that's MakeHuman community or MakeHuman 1.1.1. This is the 1.2.0 Alpha 3. The other versions of the 1.2.0 I actually got rid of because I don't need those, because this is the most latest version of it. So what it instores and what it brings to the table for you is the ability to merge those assets that I talked about. So the MakeHuman community assets are merged in, and I try to talk about that every single video that I cover this subject on, because some people may not understand it. But pretty much there's a community tab that was added, or community link, and you go in and you'll notice that you can actually connect to a socket. The socket is what the server location, where the server location and information and data is actually tied into it. Now in the previous version of this MakeHuman community software, the 1.2.0 Alpha 2 and Alpha 1, when they introduced the socket, you would have to actually click on it and go to it and then activate it. But this newer version, you don't have to activate it. It's automated. So as soon as you turn on the MakeHuman community software, it's already linked together. Now what you are required to do if you want to get the assets in here is to click synchronize. When you click synchronize, it ties it in. And how it does it, I don't know, but it does it through the server. So keep that in mind. You don't have to know all this stuff. You just click synchronize one time and it should bring the assets in. Now, once you're done that, you go through this filter assets area and you just choose what type of asset you want to bring in. So what is an asset? A 3D asset. For those who are brand new to 3D, a 3D asset is pretty much a 3D object that someone else has created or you have created. Now, if you did not create any of the assets that you choose to bring into your project of 3D, when you choose to present it to the world, whether it's on YouTube or it's on a blog or it's anywhere on your own website, your own blog site, wherever you're choosing to present it, or if you maybe printed it on a t-shirt or stuff like that, there are some requirements to certain assets. So in terms of the requirements, I'm talking about the actual information that is presented with the content based on who created it. So whoever created the content, the 3D asset, they tend to give a license for people to utilize it. So you have to abide by the license, or else you could be breaking and breaching copyright. So keep that in mind. A lot of this information will show up on the page, so you have to look into the details, and I'll show y'all folks real quick just an example. So let's go to clothes. Say we wanted to get some clothes assets from the community tab. So what we're going to do is hit update list, and when you click update list, as long as you click synchronize, all the assets should be stored in here in their database that they put onto your computer through the server. So once you hit synchronize, the server feeds all that information into your computer's actual, I guess, through the firewall, through the internet, through all of that. It comes in and it ties itself into the MakeHuman community software through that server connection. Once it's tied in, all the assets will go in, and also the assets can get updated. As soon as you hit update list, the assets will update. So then now you can choose what asset you want. So say I wanted combat boots. I click here. It states here combat boots, and then you'll see a visual here. So let's go to view details. And the reason why I'm covering this is not really a how-to or anything at this part. This is just showing y'all folks what you will see. And I have to bring this to mind because a lot of these assets that come in tend to come in and errors will happen in terms of you trying to put the asset on the character, because the 3D information some 3D information between the server host moving over to MakeHuman and moving through your computer and then onto your screen may actually not make the full connection and not make the full communication where it's supposed to be sent. Now, where is it being sent to? Well, basically the server host will send all this information to a file repository on your computer, which I can show y'all folks that. So we're going to go to my Windows folder and open it up, and you should be able to find this on your computer as well in the same location. So what you're going to do is go to documents, your documents folder on your computer, and when you go there, you should be able to find a subfolder known as MakeHuman. So you look for M because it's alphanumeric, and then when you see MakeHuman, you're going to double click it, and then you're going to notice a whole bunch of other subfolders within the MakeHuman community folder, or MakeHuman folder. So it's within your PC. So this PC, documents, MakeHuman. Then you're going to go to V1PY3, and all this is going to be in the documentation basically on that wiki page. So it's going to talk about V1PY3. So when you hear about that, now you know that it's just a subfolder that was put on your computer from the MakeHuman community software. So you're going to double click on V1PY3. It could be called anything else, but that's what they chose to call it. And what you're going to do is click on data in another subfolder under V1PY3. You double click data. Then you're going to notice you have the ability to go to the clothes one. So this is basically where all of the assets get sent to on your computer. Now you'll be able to see where those assets are located. And this is where the fix that I propose, and when I say fix, there's a glitch, like I said, from the content going from the server to the computer and being hosted and served to these folders. So I'm going to help y'all folks with the fix on some really cool stuff. And I apologize for that call. 9 times out of 10, it's some robot calling system that keeps calling me, which is nonsense. All right, so pretty much I'll give y'all an example of something that I recently fixed, and it was the Ava machine bodysuit, or Ava skeleton. And this is more like the Android that you can create using the assets that are provided by MakeHuman. So let's see if I can type in Ava bodysuit and see if it comes out. We'll put update list, and that didn't come out. Let's put in already downloaded. Put yes. Update list. I don't know why I keep getting this call, but hold on 1 second, and I'll be right back. Hello? 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 I have no idea who that is, and they did not even talk at all. So I'm gonna block that number for sure. I apologize, folks, for that disturbance, but this is a live session, and we're gonna be experiencing some live stuff. But most definitely, this is gonna get blocked. All right, no more disturbance from that number. So here we go. So pretty much I'm going to try to bring up assets that I already downloaded. All I had to do is select yes instead of no, and then update list. And you should be able to see what I have in store in here. And get rid of this I have a bodysuit title and just hit update list, and then I should be able to see it. So here goes all the stuff that I have downloaded. And in terms of the clothes itself, so I'm in the clothing asset type, so it's going to go and search through clothing. And I don't know if I can see, but here goes a female suit. Here goes a male suit. If you want to view the details, you click view details, and then it shows a visual, which is pretty cool. And then you have to hit hide details, this tab here on the right near download, and then it makes it hide. So you get to check other assets and things of that nature. So this part is kind of like a how-to, but pretty much still not showing y'all folks the fix. I'm just trying to find the asset that had the issue. So I don't know if it's in clothing. Let's just go to geometries. We'll go out of the community part, and let's assume that y'all folks had to do all of this stuff yourself. Actually, we'll go to files, and we'll get a asset back in. And this is why, like I said, it's not for kids, because as you can see, it has a kind of like a nude model or whatever. But I'm gonna bring in my Android character. I have an Android character that I created, so you can see that the asset is fully clothed and it is possible to get it in. So pretty much what was missing is all of what you see here. The asset did not have the actual texture that you see, the silver kind of suit, and the exoskeleton or endoskeleton. I guess it's a endoskeleton. I don't know how they would call that for an Android, but by the way, this character was a character that I got from the MakeHuman community actual website. So you can get characters from there that are pre-designed, and I'll show y'all folks that so you can see how it works with the MakeHuman community website itself. So the previous way to do it in the older versions of MakeHuman, like MakeHuman community or MakeHuman version 1.1.1, pretty much the older versions wasn't called MakeHuman community software. It was more of a MakeHuman. It was just called MakeHuman. So now the newer versions are called MakeHuman community because they tied into assets. So the older version, you would have to go to the assets link up here and pretty much click these links and individually select items that are here and download it to your computer. Then you would have to go to your folders here on the MakeHuman actual folders that are downloaded to your computer through V1 PY3, but the older version was V1. So let's go back to the older version so you can see. This is the older version, V1. The V1 folder. So this is where the assets would be here. You go to data and then go to close or whatever other assets that are provided that you choose, and you would have to add those files / folders into here. So you would actually have to either drag and drop it or right click, copy from the download location from your downloads, and then paste the actual folder here. And then eventually you would have to shut off MakeHuman and then and basically exit out and then load it back up. That's how you would get it onto MakeHuman. Now you don't have to do that. So now what you have to do is pretty much, like I said, go to this community tab and then do the synchronization like I talked about. So you do synchronization and then update list every now and then based on what type of assets you want. So say you wanted, say like eyebrows, eyelashes, skin. Say you wanted skin, hit update, and then you can scroll through all the different skin that's available. Now this is downloaded assets that I downloaded. Now a lot of these skins will come up as an error. So let me show y'all folks that. So say I wanted to change her skin, right? So we're going to go to materials. The materials tab is where you change the skin. And say I wanted to change her skin to the dragon female skin. Look at that. It doesn't look like a dragon female skin. It looks like some sort of a weird text that's over the character. And let me get rid of the glasses real quick. Hopefully this actual session doesn't freeze, and hopefully I didn't jinx it. But my computer does freeze and lock up because of many issues. But another thing that's really cool and great is that I doubled my internet speed, so it may not lock up. We'll see. I don't know how that would have a play on your computer freezing, but hey, communications is funny like that. And if you have too much communications going through at one point in time and the access points are small and they're not open enough to make that communications go through, it tends to create bad feedback loops, and that could cause system crashes and stuff like that in terms of server speeds and server issues too. So yeah, look at that. So see, her face is not working right. This would be a correct skin. This would be an incorrect skin. See, so the skin texture failed. So my proposed fix for this particular issue is for you to go back to the MakeHuman community website and do it the old method, even though that most of the textures and stuff has actually worked out and come onto your computer. Some of it is missing. So like I said, is due to a lot of the server issues that you don't see, because there's a lot of high-tech stuff going on that the developers have worked on their end, and as a user, we're not expected to do anything to fix it. But you know, when in doubt, you have to bust out some kind of a solution if you want to get something to work. So I go to close. Say I wanted to go to close and fix some of the clothes. Say some of the clothes is messed up, whatever clothes it is. Say it was the gloves. You go to medium gloves on the website through MakeHumanCommunity.org, and then what you would do is find the missing actual files. So say I actually downloaded this through the community assets, you would have to go to each one of these and find the ones that are missing and then download it onto your computer. Now, how do you download it onto your computer from the website? All you got to do is click the link. So I wanted the MHCLO file, which is required for a lot of assets. You click it, and then a download pop-up comes up, and you basically save file. You click OK. It goes to your download section on your computer, and you open containing folder by left-clicking the open containing folder option, and then you go and right-click, copy. And then you would go to the actual folder for that MakeHuman community close, that particular close. So you go back to documents, look for MakeHuman. So I'm showing y'all folks a review, and then go v1py3, then go data, then go to close at the very bottom, and then look for that asset that you actually tried to get from the MakeHuman community assets downloader that's tied into this area here. So you would look for that particular asset. So say I wanted the skin dragon bodysuit, female, dark, whatever, I would have to find this asset, literally find it. So to find it, you go to assets from the website, you go to skins, say that's what you were looking for, and I believe there's a search field here that you can use, which I thought there was, but no, I don't see it. There should be a search, but I don't know if there's a search here. So you would have to manually go in and literally find it, you know, by clicking one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. But luckily there's not that much skin assets, so it's pretty much here. So dragon bodysuit, female dark towards the bottom, and then here goes the asset. This is how the character looks once you get the asset working, and these are the two different assets. So let's go and find out and see if something's missing in the v1py3 subfolder. So let's back up and go to skin or skins, and then see why the female dark one isn't working. So we have dragon female dark matte or .mh matte, and then dragon female dark, the PNG file, which is an image file, which probably is the skin textures. Well, actually it's not. This is just the image file for maybe the thumbnail. Actually, no, this is the thumbnail image here. So the thumbnail image is basically a small little graphic that represents the skin. So I'll show y'all that real quick. So that's this here. So that thumbnail is this. I don't know what that PNG is, but along the lines of the transfer, something is missing. So what is missing? I would say this optional diffuse texture is missing. So we right click it, save image as, and then we will save it into that folder. So go to data, actually v1py3 data skins, and then look for that actual dragon dark right there. And as you can see, it has this one in there, which shouldn't be that, should be the other one. So we will save it. Dragon female dark already exists. Do you want to replace it? Yes. So now we replace that. I would actually do these two. So let's do this one just in case if it's causing a glitch and an error. So we have to go back to the browser download section, open containing folder, right click, cut, and then go into, well, I'll go fast, the fast method, because I already have it open. Right click and paste, and replace that file just in case if it's causing an error. And then the thumbnail we really don't have to replace, but if you wanted to, for shits and giggles, why not? So now we're gonna minimize. Let's minimize everything and then go into the MakeHuman community software, and let's see if it works. So in order to check to see if it works, you would have to like go to another tab. If you're in the actual skin tab, go to materials, and it should automatically fix it. And nope, it didn't fix it. But sometimes there's a glitch, so you might have to shut it off and try it again. And let's try that. So we'll shut it off, try it again. It's not 100% that it's corrected yet. Sometimes it has a little glitch in between. Like I said, you may have some issues. And if you can't get it working that way, we'll bring it to Blender. And y'all folks will get to see on Blender how I make the fix on Blender, make the correction. But it most definitely fixed the 3D asset for the Android. As you can see, I got the Android working on MakeHuman. So it took some time for that to actually work itself through so it can actually work well. Let me see if I can bring up some questions. If y'all folks have any questions, I'm gonna go into the live stream real quick and see what y'all folks have to say. We got I Am True Skills. What's up, I Am True Skills? What's going on, bro? Hopefully you're still there watching, learning, whatever. If you are learning anything, this is pretty dope stuff in terms of being able to fix something that you may not know exists. Some people may know of it, but yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff out here that we have to deal with in terms of 3D. If we're trying to do 3D modeling or animation or anything like that, sometimes you come across a lot of glitches where things just don't work the way it's supposed to work. Here goes a character I created here. This guy, as you can see, is an Android. I can change his skin, I can change his physical features, I can do anything I want with the character in terms of design, with what MakeHuman offers me. So it's pretty dope. Like I said, the software is dope, and I can go all out with it in terms of making the character look unique. Like, say I wanted to change the eyes, I can change the eye colors that fast, make it green if I wanted to, light brown, light blue, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's pretty dope. This software is awesome. And say I wanted to merge it onto Blender, I can do that. But I'm not going to do all that right at this very moment. First, what I want to do is see if I can get the skin to work on this character's skin. So dragon female dark, let's see if it works. No, it says it's an error occurred. Check the log. Cannot get texture for file path. And it says dragon underscore female underscore dark dot png, no such file. So that could help me to some degree to see what's going on with it. Let's go out and go back in. Actually, so this PNG file may be causing some issues. I'm not sure what's going on over here. And actually, that file that I downloaded doesn't seem to have made it through. So this diffuse, oh yeah, it did make it through. This was the PNG, right? So let's see. Let's right click, look at the properties for it, and check what it is. That's the PNG file here, and it's saying that this PNG has an issue. So what could I do to get that corrected? Well, what we're gonna do also is try to open it and see the size, because sometimes sizing makes a difference. Now this is a very tiny thumbnail, so that's probably what the problem is. This was turned into a tiny thumbnail, and it shouldn't be this size. It should be a much larger size. So what I propose is for us to find a skin that works. So let's go to skins and find something that works. Like this ginger skin should be working. Let's see. Open with, paint. Now look at the size of this one. Bam. So maybe that's the problem. Because of the pixel size, this is the actual diffuse map for the skin, which looks kind of ugly, right? But I do know it works. So the proposition is to turn that other actual thumbnail looking size into a 20 by 48 2048 by 2048 size. So in terms of pixel size, so we would have to do that. But before we do that, we want to find out why that other one came in at such a small size. So hit cancel, and let's hit the graphic. There it is. So that's the large size. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to copy this one instead. Now we're going to save image as. So the reason why it's so small is because I saved the image as a small square. And let's try it again. So we're going to replace this one, and it should fix the problem. Let's go back, and we're going to open it with paint and see what the size is now. Look at the size now, 20 by 48. So that should have fixed that problem. Now the size is correct. Now let's go back to MakeHuman and see if we can play with that skin again. So we'll go to default and go back, and it's still saying the texture is missing. That's interesting because the texture is there. Interesting. So alright, now what we'll do is officially merge onto MakeHuman. I mean, not MakeHuman, onto Blender. So we'll take the character and we'll send it to Blender. Now, another benefit of having this community 3D software, this community option here for MakeHuman with the socket and everything, is that when you go to Blender, if you have the add-on for MakeHuman tied into Blender, which Blender comes with third-party add-ons sometimes tied in, or outside of external to Blender. So what you can do is you can get the add-on from an external website, which would be the MakeHumanCommunity.org website. You can get the add-on for Blender from there and add it to Blender, and it looks like this. So we're going to go to it. Looks like this. Nice little module type of thing that says MakeHuman volume 0.6.1, and this is the most latest updated one. This one allows you to have a great deal of customization and different things that you can do to it. You can actually use what is known as Make Clothes, which is my latest video that I did prior to this, my live stream, which talked about Make Clothes in terms of you being able to create your own clothing assets and stuff like that. You can also create targets. So it gives you really cool customization options and stuff like that. And it has a mocap option, which I tried to play with Connect, but I didn't get it to work, so I haven't created a video for it. But if I get it working, then I'll be able to do a video on that. But other than that, what I'm going to do is just set it to a decimeter size in terms of the Blender units. And the reason why I'm setting that is so that the character can come in within a respectable size on Blender, so you can see the character in good detail. Other than that, we go back to Mesh, and all we have to do is click Import Human, and that should bring the character in. It's really not that much that you have to know about this add-on besides clicking that tab. But in terms of going to change the settings, that would be a good setting for you to change, which is the Blender unit size, which I talk about a lot. So what we're going to do now, instead of going to File and going to Import to bring in a 3D asset or a 3D model or FBX file, which is an animation file or whatever other type of file you have, like I said, we're going to go to Mesh and hit Import Human. And it's very simple. So it brings the character in, but for some reason this character will not come in the way that you want it, because some of the stuff is missing, some of the stuff has issues. All it brung in was a part of the skin texture, which you can see here, which is weird, or a part of the skin mesh, I should say. And that's, for 3D terms, a mesh is the 3D elements that created it. So that's that. We're going to delete that, and we're going to go back to the asset and see what's wrong with it, why it's not coming in. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that skin, go to materials, change the skin back to what it was. Let's just make it a default skin and see if that makes a difference, and try to merge it now like that. Hit Import Human, and it should work, because that skin clothing asset is not working right. There we go. So now the character came in. He has a default skin asset, which is not the skin asset that should be on it, but that's great. So now you're seeing a very, very dark looking character, pitch black skin, but we're going to change that. We're going to go to material properties on Blender. You don't need to know Blender to understand this part. Is really not hard, but pretty much we're going to go down to the material option. We got Blifton 1. What's up, Blifton 1? Does it have a predefined rig when you say import into Blender? Well, a rig for Blender basically means that your character can be animated. So I would have to say yes and no. It depends on what you choose to add on MakeHuman. So the character from start by default has no bones, so you would have to go to the pose option on MakeHuman, which is over here. I'll show you real quick. You have to go to this pose/animate option and add the bones to the character. My character has bones because by default it was already added by the creator who came up with that more like Asian looking female character that I showed you, the original one. I took her and I actually created him out of her. And I'll be showing in some videos on how to do all that stuff. But it automatically was set to default to these default bones that you see here. So that's what rigging is on MakeHuman, is basically choosing to select bones when you choose whatever type of rig preset that you want, or you leave it at none. If you leave it at none, that means that it's not going to have a rig. So you can still import it onto Blender without having the bones. That's what I'm trying to say. So by default it's set at none, and you will have to set it to whatever rig that you want it in order for it to have animatable bone structure. So when it moves over to Blender, then you can animate it. Like right now it has a rig, so there goes the bones right there. It's highlighted in orange, and I can click on pose mode, and I can click on whatever part of the bones that I want, and I can rotate in the Z direction and start to rotate the character. Now it is having some sort of texture issues and stuff like that, so that's another thing that I would have to handle and figure out why it's having that problem. But as you can see, it can move, so it's rigged, fully rigged. But hopefully that answers your question. So what I'm going to do now, like I was showing, I'm going to go to this material option, material properties. Why I'm going here is so that I can change the properties of the facial features. So what I'm going to do now is I already know that it has texture issues. So I have to go to what is known as the shader editor. So how you would change textures on a 3D asset on Blender is through adjusting the shader nodes or shader editor. And these nodes basically are the developer's way of giving you advanced codes without giving you the code. So they're not giving you the code, so you don't have to actually know all the codes. Instead, they turned it into nodes, into these visual nodes that you can connect together. So it bypasses you having to code stuff so that the graphic could look a certain way. So that's basically what the node editor or shader editor does. It bypasses the more advanced stuff that you would have to know. So it's not really that hard, but it takes some time to figure out and puzzle together what type of nodes will work best for what type of graphic that you want to create or what type of texture you want your actual 3D assets to look like. So it takes some time, and there's all kinds of different nodes. But this particular node here is an older node, I think. No, this is the newer node. Yeah, so this is the node with the skin texture where you can change the skin texture. And that's from the updated add-on for this MakeHuman software. So what I'm going to do is set this to 0. You don't have to memorize any of this stuff. I'm just trying to change the pore section of the texture. I'm going to go to add, and I'm going to go to texture, and I'm going to add an actual image texture. What this means is that I'm going to take a PNG graphic, which is the one that y'all folks saw when I was doing the dragon lady's skin texture, trying to do the fix. And I'm going to take that graphic and I'm going to add it to Blender by using this image texture node. So I'm going to connect this color option to the color node here where it says color mix. And all those connections will make a difference in terms of providing shade, or the actual graphic will go through and provide that shaded graphic to output on the skin. So you'll see now I'm going to go to open, and I need a little water because my throat is getting dry, but I'm going to go and find that actual texture. So we got to go to documents, double click it, sorry about that, go to MakeHuman. It's going to be in the same folder. Go to data, go to skins, and doesn't seem like there's a skin graphic in here, but it should be in here. Let's see what's going on. It should be in here. Let's see. Image files. Show hidden. No. I don't know why it's not showing, but it should show. Let's go to thumbnails, and we're going to exit out of that. I don't know why it's not showing, but it should be in. Did I go to V1PY3? Let's see. C drive, documents, MakeHuman, V1PY3. It goes to texture right there. Data. What is the skins? Here, skins. All right, I was in the wrong one. Sorry about that. Dragon female. I think this is the dark one. And here it is. And then hit open image, and that should connect to the skin. And it has not changed yet. So I don't understand why. It should have changed. It's interesting. Well, let's change this node and see if the node is making a difference. So we're going to pull this out, pull this out. Maybe I'm not connecting the right nodes to this, but it should work. Then we're going to go to Principal BSDF. Generally, this is the one by default that Blender provides. Now you can see the color is changing. Now you can see the graphic. There we go. So there goes the dragon. This is basically a way to fix the issue. And he looks funny because he shouldn't be having lipstick on, but hey, to each one's own out there. All right, so there you go. That's a temporary fix to bypass the issues that you would have on MakeHuman. So like I was showing, the issue of this not showing up, that's the fix for it by bypassing it and going straight to Blender. But make sure you set it at a default skin, or any other skin would be fine, but default skin works best, I think, in order to get it to work. Now that's that fix. The other fix for the actual Android, the asset, the Avasuit and stuff like that, what I did is go to MakeHuman and try to bring up the Avasuit. It took me some time to find it. Actually, what I did is I had to go to, instead of going through clothing, I had to go to Google and type in like something like Avasuit MakeHuman community, something like that. And it took me some time, but here it is, a version of Ava of Ex Machinima. And let's see, we click on this one if it brings it up, and there we go. So then what I did is I copied each one of these. So I downloaded each one of these. Let me go to the suit. Let's see, here it is. So yeah, I downloaded each one of these asset link things. I also downloaded, I think I downloaded just the diffuse texture and the normal map, and then merged it on. I think all these were good, these files here. So you just need the diffuse texture and normal map, and then you bring it on to your subfolders for that asset. So we'll go to data. Is it materials? Okay, yeah, it's in the materials option, and Ava Machinima, and I just added this Avasuit, the PNG here. This is the diffuse map, and this is the normal map, and I added those here, and that was it. And then when I went back to MakeHuman, it started to work. But I think there's another location for the files besides materials. Close. Let's see. Oh, here. So it's here where it shows Ava Machina bodysuit. So you would have to add this and add that. So there goes the diffuse and the normal map, and the other diffuse and normal maps. Add these as well if they're missing. Whatever is missing, add it. When you add it into these differing subfolders, go back to MakeHuman and go to geometries, and then go and click on the related icons for them and try to activate them. See, right now it's not activated, and I just not activated them. Well, one of them. Now that one's activated. So bam. So that should fix it, and then you should be able to merge your character in and get it on Blender like y'all folks saw here. Now another way to get your characters onto Blender, you can do MHX2, which is known as the MakeHuman Exchange. So you have to have that add-on as well. So you can get all that add-on stuff from, let me show you real quick. MakeHuman recently updated, so if you go to the main website, makehumancommunity.org, and you look at the very first nightly builds of most plugins option here, this link, click on it, or you can click download, and then you go to download plugins. If you look through, you'll see all of what you need. So it has Mappy download, asset downloader. You don't need that, but those are already tied in. Here goes the forked MHX2, so you can download this, go from that one, and here goes the MakeHuman plugin for Blender. You can download that one, get it on Blender. If you don't know how to do the Blender add-ons, how to actually synchronize it and add it to Blender. You can check out my previous videos covering that subject. I'll try to link y'all folks to some of that stuff in this video after the live stream is done. And then they have Make Target and Make Close. I didn't talk about Make Target, but basically Make Target is really dope. I can show you what it is over here. So let's go to modeling and go to custom. In the custom area, that's where you apply targets. So say I wanted to make this character look a little different, distinctively different. I can go and change his head shape like that using a target. And look at that. That was pretty fast. I can add or remove some of what I've done before, and things will look a lot different in terms of the character's face and shape of the body as well. So targets are basically something that you can manipulate on Blender, and they have the add-on like I showed y'all folks from using this MakeHuman add-on. You can go to settings, change the default, go to make target, and actually change some of the properties, physical properties of what the character looks, and then load it onto MakeHuman, and it will tie into those subfolders that y'all folks saw, and it will actually be able to adjust to the new sizing that you chose to create the character with. So it will actually reshape the contours and the design of the character. So that's a little advanced from someone who's brand new to Blender and also MakeHuman. So I'll be showing y'all folks slowly but surely details on how to get to that point where you can actually do it. But they also have the MakeHuman community YouTube channel where you can learn from that as well. And there's tons of people who have been doing these videos for years where you can learn from them. But with those videos, those are much older, and it's far more advanced and far more difficult to actually do it. With the newer functionality of these newer software updates, they've made it much easier. So it's not as complicated as it used to be. It's much more simple, and it becomes really easy to create unique characters, and you can take them and make them what you want them to look like, and also you can apply them to different things that you want to do. So say you're a game developer and you want to add these characters to games and stuff like that, you can go hard on that part, and you can really make the characters look the way you want and supply it for your gaming needs and stuff like that. Or if you want to use these characters in film development, animation type film development, you can get into that as well. But it's going to take you some time as a brand new person to learn how, the things that you need to know to get the character's face moving and the mouth motions and things like that, so you can actually create a film. So I'm in that transitional process. I'm learning what type of tools I can utilize to make the face move, and I'm also learning how to animate the face and different body parts on my own without using third-party software or anything, but basically just doing it on Blender. But to get to that level, it takes some time, so you would have to learn how to go off of Blender, go to pose mode, manipulate certain parts, know what pivot points to change and adjust to, like I'm doing right here. And look at that, I'm pulling the lips, which is crazy. You would actually be manipulating like that to move the mouth. See that? So it's that kind of stuff that you would actually be doing, manually, which is really not easy to do manually. Or you can use advanced third-party software that ties into Blender that would actually help you to do it. And also there's people who are far more advanced who create codes to be able to create lip syncs and different things. You can tie other software in to create lip syncs and eventually try to get the job done. I mean, the whole idea is to be creative and to create something unique, but to use third-party software to make it help you do that and advance the process would be dope. But it takes time to understand all those third-party software. So that's why I try my hardest to learn that stuff in the background. Sometimes it takes me a week to learn something, and I don't launch another YouTube video until I really learn something so I can help people to access it and bypass a lot of the hurdles that you're going to have to go through to figure it out. So other than that, that's all I got. Joe Love and peace to all. Mike Pugh signing off. If y'all folks want to get into more of this stuff, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to hit the thumbs up. Shoot that what do they call that bell icon into the universe by smashing the bell icon. If y'all folks want to get my latest, and not literally shooting it, but you know what I mean, punching it or something like that, knocking it out the box by clicking it. If y'all want to get my latest videos. Other than that, that's all I got. Joe Love and peace to all, and I'll see y'all folks in the next. Peace. Let's see if we have any more questions, if I can ask any questions before I go. Blifton said, okay, thanks. John Cat said, thank you, sir. You're welcome. There's a lot of stuff that's more than meets the eyes out here for sure. It's all about how much you're willing to take the time and budget your time, and budget your time into learning it. And then eventually you can do some amazing stuff. Like, let me go real quick before I leave and show y'all folks some of the results of what I was able to do. This I call Dr. Q and Droid 1. I'm not going to save this, what I just did. I was just showing y'all folks as an example of how to fix some stuff. And this is a dope project that I'm working on that I did not know I was going to be working on. But here goes 2 characters that I created. This one I did not create her. I got her from the third-party assets, and I'm going to fully credit whoever created that character once this project is up and running. But for now, I'm doing educational videos, which doesn't really require me to give credits because it's what they consider to be in copyright. Educational is, what do they call it? Forgot the copyright thing. Y'all folks know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll be bringing out some videos on copyright. I kind of had a brain fart at this moment because I'm doing live and I'm not 100% ready for that part in terms of copyright. But basically, I'm not required 100% to do that if I'm doing educational videos. If y'all folks know what the term of what I'm talking about is, y'all could basically drop it in the comment section. But sometimes I forget some of this stuff, but it's all good. I'm pretty good when it comes to copyright and understanding it, so I should know, but I'm not an attorney, so you don't have to take my word for it 100%. You want to consult with an attorney, and if you have a lawyer present when you're creating content, because you want to know what you're doing and what the implications are, how it's going to affect other people around the planet. You don't want to get yourself screwed over, or you don't want to hurt content creators out there who have helped to create this stuff. The suit right here, I did not create. I created this character here, 100% me, starting out with the default character off of the MakeHuman community software. But this character here with the glasses, I did not create the glasses. I did not create the Ava suit. I did not create the hair, how the skin texture looks, none of that stuff. Or the contours of her face, the shape, stuff like that. So someone else created that. So you would have to provide credits if you're not doing educational videos, unfortunately, but you can also do and provide criticism in your videos. If you're doing criticism, it should be criticizing the content. So why would I be using these third-party software and providing criticism about something else? It wouldn't work, right, in terms of copyright. And it's known as fair use. I forgot it. I got it in my mind now. Fair use is the protection for copyright in dealing with educational purposes. So this is considered to be fair use because why? It's all educational. Everything that I'm saying, that I'm stating to you is relevant. It's real. It's something that's going to help someone on the other side of the planet, or maybe they're like a mile away from me, or maybe next door. I'm not sure. But the knowledge that I'm putting into the screen and I'm pouring into the screen, hopefully is going to help y'all folks to go further if you want to do this same similar thing that I was able to do. Now, about, I would say 2 years back, I had no knowledge of 3D in terms of creating 3D assets, so I couldn't do this stuff. So y'all folks are seeing the labor process of about 2 years. Now this asset that you see right here is showing breaking news or whatever. This is not my asset. It comes from, I believe, CG Trader. It's a website. If it's not CG Trader, I believe it's another website for 3D assets. Wherever I got it from, once I choose to use this in a full format, of a 3D project and launch it to the public as a separate solo project. Maybe it's going to be in a film or something like that. I don't think it's going to be in a game, but I may create this as a solo project that becomes part of something official. I don't know. You never know. Well, that will have to come with the details as to where I got the content from, and if they gave me permission, I have to give the permissions and the details of the licensing. So that's where all of that comes in. Also, in my videos description areas, if it's not an educational video, I want to provide all the licensing and details in that, because I don't want to get hit with copyright issues, and you still could get hit with copyright issues even though. So you want to have all those licensing details on hand, on your computer or on your mobile devices, and double backed up so you can cover yourself whenever you're using other people's content. So other than that, I'm going to X this out because my computer is going to freeze. I can sense it because it's making a lot of noise. The reason why that's happening is because of the rendering. So when you're rendering, Blender was actually rendering right there using Eevee, the Eevee renderer, the new Eevee renderer. And if you're doing that, your computer is going to take up a lot of GPU/CPU, which is your graphics processor. It's going to take up a lot of data. So keep that in mind when you're doing this stuff. If you're doing live stream, it may freeze your computer, things like that. Other than that, I'm out of here. Like I said, and I'll see y'all folks in the future videos. I just wanted to cover that part about the 3D assets and dealing with copyright and stuff like that. Crediting people in your description areas is really important. On your websites is really important. Wherever you're launching that content, you want to give credit to people who actually created those 3D assets. And if they don't require you to provide that information, that's the only way that you can cover yourself, but you would still have to put what type of license it is that they offered. So a lot of the licensing would be like CC0 1.0, which would be in the Creative Commons and stuff like that. So like I said, in the series that I'm going to launch about copyright, I'm going to make sure y'all folks get all that information, and it's relevant, 100% relevant, because there's a lot of things going on YouTube that is affecting creators because they don't know these things. But like I said, I'm out. Peace.